All right, boys and girls, what is going on? Welcome to the scent bubble. It is evening time. I am at my son's soccer game or soccer practice, really. And I thought, let's get some more lights in here. I would do a review, car review. Normally, when I'm in my car, I'm doing a hot take, but felt like talking about a fragrance today, a real sleeper. I mean, it feels like a sleeper. I guess in some ways it is, in some ways it isn't. It's supposed to be a sleeper because the fragrance is so old. But you guys should put your nose to it if you haven't. I know a lot of you guys have. A lot of you have parents who had this fragrance when you were little. Maybe you are as old as me and you have come across this fragrance when you were younger. The fragrance we're going to talk about tonight is CK Obsession. How about that? I have resources to be able to pick up, vintage fragrances, older fragrances, and things like that. And I came across the opportunity to get this fragrance for, I don't know, $3, a dollar, something crazy like that. And so I got it, and I've tried this fragrance on. I've smelled other people with it as a kid, and for some reason I forgot all about it in terms of the scent profile and all that. And I'm kind of happy because it's almost like the Eros effect. When it comes to typical fragrances like Bleu de Chanel, Eros, Gucci Guilty, all that stuff, I find that to enjoy the most out of very mass appeal, popular, historical fragrances in the community, it's like a distance makes the heart grow fonder type of situation. So the longer away from it you are, every time you come back to it, you actually really, it's like seeing it for the first time and you kind of get a new high for the fragrance. And so I wear Eros a lot compared to the average person, but I always spend long times in between not wearing Eros because every time I go back to it, I enjoy it almost at the same level as a lot of niche fragrances because it feels quality and it doesn't feel common. It doesn't feel typical to me because it's not typically in my space. You know what I'm saying? I'm not rocking it a lot. So CK Obsession, man, for men, this is an eau de toilette concentration. This is made back when the eau de toilettes, I feel, had more naturals and less synthetics. Synthetics have been, have evolved over time. And as they've evolved, they've become a lot more accessible and cheaper to use. And therefore, more people use them as as life goes on. And so I feel like there's less synthetics in older fragrances and more naturals. And because of that, you have the ability with that and also fixatives and things like that to have eau de colognes and eau de toilettes that are just beastly. And this is what I would classify as, this is not nuclear, but it is beast mode before beast mode was coined as a term, right? So what is this, man? I'm not going to get super technical. I don't remember the year it came out. I would guess this has to be like a 90s scent. It's so good, bro. It's so good. I put this on, or actually I put it on a test strip. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. And that happens more often than not with a lot of vintage and older scents that I deal with. I'll come across them and be like, wait a second. And I'm kind of glad I'm coming back to it now because now my nose has been on more things. And so I naturally pick up more notes. I find that when you're kind of in the juvenile or early stages of fragrances, you smell vibes and you smell a lot more singularly. You can't make out as much. So fragrances come across very whitewash. You kind of get one scent profile or one vibe from a fragrance. And so I would imagine that if I was smelling this 10, 15 years ago, I would have thought, oh man, it's just a beast mode amber incense type of fragrance. And I imagine the reviews are all over the place for this fragrance, because it's like, what do you get out of it? And where are you in your fragrance journey to be able to appreciate different levels of this, whether you like it or not? For me, this is a cooler weather with a breeze, hot amber with a resinous, smoky incense with a gigantic backdrop of aromatic, almost old school fougere lift. So the kind of ambery, buttery, resinous vibe likens to like a Bentley Ferment Intense without the booze. And then there's this, that's what makes it feel kind of like modern. And then there's this overwhelming aromatic lift in the background that feels old school fougere-ish. So I can imagine some people are like, man, this smells like, you know, not a modern fragrance. This smells old school. I could imagine people saying, just taking it singularly and being like, this is just like an ambery stick of incense. I could imagine people vibe checking this fragrance and being like, this smells like, you know, romance and cigarettes, you know, like a late night after hours on a leather couch, after you just got home from the bar, you know, or a Nag Champa incense amber type of scent. You get a good healthy dose of sweetness. It's like 4 or 5 out of 10. I would lean towards like a 4 out of 10 power of sweetness. So it's more of a resinous ambery sweetness. So it's more like a savory sweet kind of thing with a lot of aromatic freshness lift in the background, but it's still a very dense fragrance. I would say it leans more middleweight, not heavyweight. When I say lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, I'm talking about how thick the juice smells in the air. It feels very like solidly middleweight to me. And this is just a vibe, dude. Like fall, winter, killer, beast mode eau de toilette. I can't imagine this thing performing anything under than 6 hours. Like I would imagine you'd wake up the next day smelling, you know, amber and incense. And, but man, that aromatic backdrop is so dope. I don't really know if this is timeless. It's more of a time capsule. It takes you back, and it's something that kind of never gets old revisiting back with it, but it might not fit for most occasions today because it just kind of has an older backdrop to it. But honestly, bro, this fragrance almost is like, you know how people say you can have an old soul? You know, you got a young kid, he's 20 years old, but his mind and the way he talks and the things he's into feels like he's like 30 or 40 years old. You know, he's like 10, 20 years past himself. This is like the opposite. This is like a old man with a young soul. It's crazy. You got to put your nose on it. Yo, this is the truth, bro. This has to go down as something that will stay in my collection, will be constantly revisited. This will remind you of your fly big unk, your fly grandfather. He is just cool as a breeze, bro. This is the grandpa or the unk that you don't mind your homies seeing if they come over and hang out with you. Yeah, that's my uncle, man. They're like, yo, he's fly. He's funny, man. You know what I mean? Like, just fly. It's got kind of like that ambery resinousness, almost is like almost feels like liquor and incense. You know what I'm saying? Like Hennessy, Nag Champa, and then green aromatic lift. So it even kind of has the I don't want to say barbershop, but it does because it's frothy too. Like it's a bit of barbershop, it's a bit of you know, romance and cigarettes. It's a bit of aftershave. It's a bit of that fougere fernness with the aromatic lift. The aromatics are amazing. And if you look at the note structure of this fragrance, it's one of those Roja style breakdowns where there's like 10 top notes, 15 heart notes, 20 bass notes. So it's all over the place, bro. But man, this is like beautiful. It's almost like pouring a bottle of Hennessy all over yourself and then lighting an incense. I think that's the best way I can describe it. So it's just cool, man. It's the grown man you want to end up being. Just a cool dude. You're old, yep, you're aged, you know, you've been there, done that, but you're still fly. You know, you're still you could still hold a crazy conversation. You're the guy everybody wants to be around and ask for life advice and sit on a porch at midnight having a 4-hour conversation about life. You're the guy people want to run into on the train, and you got an hour-long train ride and you just talk to this dude and download his brain. There's people I talk to, I'm kind of a mentor to a lot of people. And I remember I was talking to a kid, and he said, yo, he doesn't know me as the scent bubble. He knows me as my artist name. He's like, Conscience, listen, man. That's my rap name. He goes, yo, Conscience, I love talking to you because I feel like you're me and you're me 10 years later. you know, I think he's like in his late 20s. I'm pushing 40. And so he's like, so every time I feel like you're where I'm trying to go. And so I like hearing your brain and getting your feedback, and you're somebody who I want to be like, and that's what obsession reminds me of. Like, that's just the vibe that it evokes. And I'm sorry if the color and the audio is a little tricky. I tried wiring up for my mic in here to give you guys some kind of quality. But I'm just sitting here watching my son on the field while I'm talking. But yeah, this fragrance is just fly. Again, I don't want to call it timeless. It's a old man with a young soul. He's still got, he's 50, he's 60, but he's still got life to live. He wants to do another 50. You know what I mean? It's just got that radiance to it, man. And I love that ambery resinous. It's not too smoky. It's not too boozy. It is a very intense amber fragrance. And some people I think some people might say you could overspray this really quick. But I say you overspray it, but then you throw a hoodie on, or you throw a leather jacket on, or something like that. Let's go through some usual suspects and we'll wrap up, because I'm sure you guys are tired of the car talk. Fall, winter, you could go spring, summer nights, as long as there's a breeze. In a breeze, this thing is magical. No breeze, it might be a little aggressive. It does have an aromatic growl behind it, and the amber and the smoky resinous forwardness is very unapologetic. So fall, winter, spring, summer nights. For men, ambitious 30s, but 40 and up. 40 and up or 30 and up if you're an ambitious in your 30s and you got an old soul. Occasions, this is just older fly guys, anything, casual, upscale casuals, taking his wife out that he's been married to for 20 years, out to dinner, out on the porch, out at a lounge, out at the bar, drinks, going out with your boys to go watch the game at a restaurant. Shoot, this makes me feel like the days when a signature scent was a signature scent, meaning you wore it all the time for any occasion. You know what I'm saying? I feel like back when this fragrance was out, this would have been like one of 3 of your fragrances on the shelf, and you're just known for rocking this. So I do think there's certain occasions for it these days with the way culture has changed with how we wear perfume. But truthfully, it feels like just a signature scent for a dude. So in that regard, you pick when you want to wear it, and you're more than likely wearing it because it's a staple of masculinity for you. It's got a ton of personality, so it's signature, and it lasts long. So like, it checks all the dang boxes. Again, I got this like 100 mil or 120 mil right here for like less than $3. I might have even got it for $1. So I forget. Shout outs to the plug who ran that up for me. But yeah, man, Calvin Klein Obsession for Men. Such a, I was gonna say timeless, but again, I think it's such a time capsule fragrance, nostalgic, mature. Sprays on this. Today I rocked it just for fun. 3 or 4 sprays is plenty. But for me, if there's a breeze in the air, I'm rocking 4 to 8 and then I'm going to throw a hoodie on over it and then maybe spray once on the hoodie because I want it to last. I want it to feel like the type of fragrance where you smell it moderately, but then when I bust that hoodie off, you get it's almost like I just applied it. You know, you want people to smell this. Um, Alternatives, man, screw alternatives. You don't need them for this. I mean, again, it reminds me of some things. Like, it's got touches of a lot of stuff. It's got touches of um, Guy LaRoche's Dracar Intense. It's got reminiscent of Bentley for Men Intense. It's reminiscent of I almost said Aromatics Elixir, but I'm trying to say Azzaro Pour Homme. It's got a little bit of that kind of aromatic lift to it. It's got some greenness from like some Aramis type fragrances. It's got it all, bro. So, I mean, you could get alternatives, but why? This fragrance is so cheap now. Just get it in your collection. If you're a young guy building up your fragrance collection and you want to make a collection and you want a time capsule fragrance from the past that you can appreciate or age into, this is nice, dude. Like, it feels niche to me. It's got everything. It's got layers. It's got complexity. It's quality. It doesn't smell cheap. It doesn't smell synthetic. The nostalgia factor is the only part of it that I think may turn some people off because it is a time capsule fragrance. It will take you back. But if you can look past that, I think it's something you would really enjoy, which is why I appreciate houses like Aramis, Estee Lauder, and things like that, because they truly capture a moment in time with perfumery and culture and all that stuff that you just can't get today. So shout outs to Calvin Klein. And honestly, I got to do a really deep house dive with Calvin Klein because, man, talk about one of the most slept on designer brands of all time. We look at the CK1s and the Everyones and the Bs and you know, all that stuff, and we minimize the amount of great flankers and creations they've made in their history. Just the everyday man's fragrance house that has something for everybody. And yeah, it doesn't have the luxury factor and the sparkle and the bells and whistles that a lot of fragrances today have, but what it does have is everything that you need as a utility staple fragrance. Not every fragrance, obviously, but plenty of offerings. And for like $150, you could probably stock up on 4 to 6 solid CK fragrances that will get your fragrance journey jumping and catapult you into where maybe that might be the end point for you and that's where you stop, or it'll catapult you into a world of discovery. Anyways, put in the comments section, guys, your favorite CK fragrances from Calvin Klein, both women and men, guys, or unisex. Put them all in the comment section below. Let me know if y'all have tried this. I know there's going to be some people that hate this, some people that feel like it's a timeless 10 out of 10 masterpiece, some people that it's just a great scent memory of their parents or their uncles or you know, something from the past. People who have seen this fragrance their whole life but never had the curiosity to jump into it. The stories are all over the place for this fragrance. But with that being said, this is Calvin Klein Obsession. And as a rating, I'm going to be ambitious here. I think it's a 9. For its category, it's a 9. It might not go toe-to-toe with a lot of 9 fragrances today, but the lane that it sits in for the time period it sat in, I appreciate it as a 9 fragrance. And I will gladly put this fragrance on often from time to time. And maybe I might become an old man still rocking a fragrance like this, because masculinity in perfumery is getting stripped down, redefined, and is almost a dying art at this point. And so this fragrance rekindles the ideal man to me. To me, it's all subjective. I don't care. Feel how you feel, whatever. Anyways, guys, the lights are off, so I got to go. Stay blessed. Like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.